Hello, I'm Harper Volk with AHS-TV, and today I'm having a chat with Mr. Danka. Mr. Danka, pleasure to be in your presence.
Hello, Harper. Nice to be here.
I'm glad to have you. So you're a teacher at AHS. What are some of your favorite things about that? You know, what really makes you passionate?
It's the people. I have some good friends in the faculty. My students are really great. Their personalities are great. I have really good behaved kids. It's nice to get to know them. Probably lower on my list is what I teach, but the people I teach and the people I work with is the best part for sure.
If you could teach any position, what would it be? Like, what would your...
That's a great question. Right now I'm teaching math again. I taught math for a long time. I taught computer science for a couple years. It would be computer science. That's what I'm more passionate about.
Yeah, I feel like generally the computer science field would have more like people passionate about it and more students like really being engaged. Because I feel like throughout, you find you have one or two students that really excel and really love it, and you can really work with them and help them gain skills in the field.
Yeah.
And I feel like with math, the majority of students are trying to just get through it. And there's maybe one that will like just move on and have to, find something else.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Even if they're really good at math, they might not like it. But the flip-flop is like computer science. If you're really good at it, you probably like it, but you can also be really bad at it and still like it.
Yeah.
If it's just an interest of yours.
Yeah.
So math is pretty niche in that way.
Yeah, for sure. Is there like a specific portion of like computer science or math? Like, is there like a unit within it that you like really enjoy teaching?
Do you want to hear about computer science or math? Which would you prefer?
Probably computer science. I feel like you'd enjoy
computer
that.
Science. I'm more into, so in computer science, there's the business side and there's the computer side. I tend to steer away from the business side.
Yeah.
Other teachers like that. For the computer science that I enjoyed the most, I like the electronics part of it, so more like the hardware and things. We were going to put in a class for that. It didn't happen this year. And I also started to incorporate video game creation into my computer classes. And I would be doing that this year had I be teaching computer science. But that was fun because kids really did enjoy that. They were creative. They learned some coding.
Yeah, I
like
heard.
And it does involve some math. So it's not entirely out of my realm in that sense. But yeah, I don't know if I could pick something in math that I would say is more enjoyable because it's all kind of
blends.
Like the whole thing, or you don't like any of it. Usually.
Yeah, I heard people. I had a friend or two last year who were in the. I think it was the computer science class.
Probably a multimedia class.
One of those, and they really enjoyed the video game creation aspect.
Yeah.
They were very happy with learning how to do that.
Yeah,
and they got a lot out of it. Outside of school, what do you spend time doing? What's daily life consist of?
Things like that, electronics, video games. I do play some golf. I like watching sports. Basketball's my favorite sport to watch and play, probably. But I do those kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been. I think I would have liked basketball a lot more if I wasn't,
5 foot.
If I was, around there. Yeah, I think I would have maybe excelled a little more, but. Still can beat my brother sometimes.
There you go.
He's
there you go.
a few years younger. He's still a little shorter, so
as long as you can always beat your brother at it, then you're in good shape.
Yeah, that gets me a little something.
Yeah.
The DC trip was something last year. I think that was probably one of my best memories of last year.
Yeah, we got to go to the DC trip with Mr. Close's class, and you and I were there. Stayed at the Watergate.
It was
all kinds of cool stuff.
Quite the hotel.
Yeah, that was fun.
I actually wasn't the biggest fan of the Watergate. I found it to be a little like...
Yeah.
There was a weird feeling to it. I think it might just be because the only thing it's known for is the thievery.
Yeah.
You don't really think of it as like, oh, yeah, the fountain in there's fantastic. The scenery is amazing. It's no, the Democratic Committee broke in and stole documents. I think it kind of threw off the vibe for me, especially because they fed into that.
Yeah, it seems like they're just kind of resting on their laurels. Like they don't have to make the outside beautiful. The inside was nice enough, but nothing special about it all, really. It's very expensive, and it's in the middle of DC. But other than that, it's nothing stands out.
Yeah.
So
it was definitely a good experience, though. I would, I would stay there again, like, given that it was my first time there. But I think maybe a Hilton. If I ever go to DC again, a Hilton might be fine.
Right, fancy it up a little bit.
Yeah. On that trip, I think a lot of the buildings we saw were very insightful. Which one was your favorite?
That's a great question. I'd probably I thought it would be the White House, but I think the way they shoveled you through it so quickly, and so much of it was roped off, it felt like I was seeing a low-level museum.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool to realize that other presidents were in those spots and they walked through those halls. But I think for me, the Capitol building was the best.
Yeah.
Especially, it was really interesting to see, the chambers where the House and the Senate are, and then the train underneath where they cart people back and forth so they don't have to go outside is really cool.
That was the train. I had no idea that was there. So when I actually got to ride on it to go to different areas, it was very like it really showed to me the scale of the building, because I knew it was obviously it's the Capitol building, it's large, but I never realized like how massive it really is.
Yeah. And
that view off the balcony was breathtaking.
Oh, that was really
with
nice.
The Washington Monument right in the center, and then just the whole city surrounding it. It really was like I don't know, it kind of put into it kind of instilled like a sense of like pride towards like the general design of Capital City.
Look at what we've created here for ourselves. We're for our own government, we've taken so much pride in it. Yeah, it was beautiful. And for Mr. Cloak to hook us up, and get us up to that balcony was really cool.
Yeah, he really did go all out there.
Yeah, he did. He planned a nice trip for us. That was great.
Yeah. Speaking of Mr. Cloak, are there any other teachers you'd like to give a shout out to, just to really drive in your appreciation towards things they've done?
Yeah. Wow. Some of the teachers here are some of my best friends. Some of them, are not my best friends, but I have a lot of respect for them, but I get along with everyone. Mr. Swanson behind the cameras here is one of my favorites.
Of course.
I'm really good friends. He's waving. I'm really good friends with Miss Douglas, Miss Kodak. Lots of people I'm friends with around here. Mr. Malware, my neighbors, Mrs. Valisic, Miss Plant. And I have so much respect for some of the really hardworking teachers. Miss Douglas is one of them. Miss Plant teaches a real challenging schedule all day. She works really hard. Mrs. Miles, when she was in math, I know she was fantastic. She finally got her spot back in history. Lots of teachers. I can go on and on and on. I don't want to leave anybody out, but those are some of the people that really stand out to me.
Yeah, everyone's included, but
everyone's included. Yeah, but some I've seen more often maybe.
Yeah.
So I have that respect for them.
Just this given time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How many? I mean, I assume you said you like working with electronics. Have you built computers or just machines like that? And which one would you say you're most proud of?
I've actually never built my own computer. It's kind of interesting because I am very interested in that kind of stuff, but I've only built computers for other people.
Oh.
So I have done that some, where you install the graphics card, install the memory and the hard drive, and wire it all up and things like that. But I don't do that a whole lot. I feel like it's one of those things I read more about it than I do it.
Yeah.
But I have done some of that. And being in the building, I was a tech mentor for a couple years. I sometimes have to work on some of the computers.
Yeah.
Just kind of maybe remounting a hard drive or the memory in it or something like that. But if I'm doing any kind of electronics at home, it's usually things that are already built for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm talking more about Mr. Swanson.
I would love to. We'll move to movies.
Let's do movies.
We talked about some over the DC trip, but I have to be honest, I don't remember if you said any, but if you have, they slipped my mind. What are some that you would say have kind of resonated with you over the years, or like what would you say your favorites are?
Well, I'm not a big English person, which kind of makes sense that I went to math and computers. So probably I can't tell you about symbolism and things like that in movies. So when I pick my favorite movies, it's going to be probably shallow things that I just enjoy watching.
Yeah.
So it's going to be growing up in the 80s, it's going to be the traditional Karate Kid and Indiana Jones and Star Wars and all that stuff. Just more recently, I suppose, it's still not recent. The Lord of the Rings movies are some of my favorites. So anything kind of nerdy.
Yeah.
Medieval stuff, science fiction stuff.
Some action in there.
Yeah, a little bit of action in there. Sure.
It's more like the screenplay rather than the actual meaning.
Yeah. I don't look for meaning in my movies. I just want to enjoy it.
Yeah. See, that's kind of. I mean, I'm not the opposite of me. I love. I think there's value in every movie, no matter how, like, symbolic or how important of a message it's putting forward.
Yeah. I feel like I shouldn't have to try to figure out what you were trying to teach me when the movie's over. I just want to know the story and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's in a way that's how I approach it, unless I think it's something that's worth. I feel like any message that's worth really hearing, you can dig into a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there should be a surface level thing, but then you can hide things behind others.
That's fair.
A
little bit of everything.
Yeah, but that's mostly how I approach. I kind of look at movies in the same way I look at school. It's like, you need to give us the baseline, and then on my own I can find meaning in other things within it.
That's great. Yeah.
I think that's more than anything is how I approach math. I feel like everyone should give you the baseline, give you the formula, and then you can work on how good you actually get at it, and you can work on finding all the fundamentals, why everything happens.
Yeah.
But the idea should be presented on some level straight to you.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Mine, I don't even. It's changed around a lot, but mine are still pretty similar. Django Unchained, Pretty Woman, and whatever the third one was.
Pretty Woman's an interesting one. That's so much before your time.
That's the one that I like. When I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, Pretty Woman!" When I'm hanging out with my mom's friends or my aunt and her friends, they're like, "Oh, you like Pretty Woman, huh? You young lovebird." I'm like, "Yeah, you caught me."
They probably think you shouldn't even watch it.
Probably not, but
sure.
I like it. I don't know. I don't really even know why I like it, but I keep the VHS tape on my wall.
All right.
It could just be for show.
And it's VHS also.
Yeah, it's VHS.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's great.
I don't even know if I have my player anymore. I think I do.
They are becoming collectibles.
Yeah.
VHS.
I would not get rid of it.
No.
I wouldn't get rid of the player or the thing because.
All right.
Who knows what it could,
Is Richard Gere still alive?
I'm not sure. I would assume probably.
I don't even know.
He was probably 35.
Sure.
In that movie, so he could be late 60s, early 70s. I assume he's probably okay. Well, it's been a wonderful interview. Glad we had this conversation, and I wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
Thank you, Harper. Yeah, I remember teaching you in 9th grade.
Yep.
You were quiet and just did all your work, and now you've blossomed into a TV spokesperson, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Yeah, good for you. Happy for you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on.